folks. Sorry about that. Had to get onto the right slide. Welcome back as we start our exploration of the integumentary system. So I want you all to take a minute and say that word, integumentary system, integumentary system. Go ahead and say it a couple of times. Okay. So you should be excited. This is our first of 11 organ systems. So we are done with all the basics. And we actually get to start exploring how your fantastic body works. And you're going, well, what is the integumentary system? I've never heard of it before. Well, this is the organ system that contains your skin plus some accessory organs, which include your hair, your fingernails, your toenails, your sweat glands, and your sebaceous glands. Okay. So this part is just the introductory where we're talking about it. We're not going to go into any details, and you need to see the next two slides for that. So in the skin, there are a lot of functions to the skin. The first function is it's a protective barrier, okay? It's a physical barrier. It's a surface, so which of the four types of tissue will have? That's right, epithelium. And not only is it a physical barrier, but it's a biological barrier because it secretes stuff which coats it. And in that epithelium, we have our immune cells just sitting there, hanging out. Like anything coming in that doesn't belong there, ready to attack and to keep you healthy in that kumbaya stuff known as homeostasis. And thirdly, it protects you because it's a chemical barrier. There are chemicals in the skin we will learn about, and it has a low or an acidic pH, which a lot of critters don't like. The skin also gives us sensory input. We know that. We can tell if we got ice cube in our hand, and we can certainly tell if we take that hot pan out without using a pot holder. It does excrete stuff. We all sweat, okay? Or maybe you just glow instead of sweat. And it absorbs, and you're going, wait a minute, I take a bath and I don't absorb a bunch of water, but I'm not talking about absorbing water, but you know, the nicotine patch, the birth control patch, those chemicals are being absorbed through the skin. It also has a role in vitamin D production. I'm going to punt on vitamin D production because our very next organ system is going to be the skeletal system, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about calcium homeostasis, which is what vitamin D production has to do with. And the last big function is it helps regulate your body temperature. So let me show you an example of how this works, okay? So this is known as thermoregulation. Thermo means temperature, so it's regulating your temperature. When you are hot, you go to the gym and you work out. Okay, you used to go to the gym maybe. Or maybe you saw somebody on TV doing a workout, okay, while you're sitting there eating chips or whatever. And what you notice is like their face starts turning red and they start glistening. So what is happening is the blood vessels of the skin are starting to dilate. So the diameter of the blood vessel is getting bigger and bigger. And so if it gets bigger, it makes sense that more blood is going there. So that's what's actually causing the flushing. It's not because they're embarrassed, because they look really kind of funky sitting there doing the elliptical or whatever it is they're doing. It has to do with the increased blood flow. And so when you have that increased blood flow, that's going to increase blood to your sweat glands, and your sweat glands are going to be able to secrete a lot more, okay? And so you get a little puddle of sweat. Now, on the other hand, if it's cold, you're inside a freezer, then they shrink down, trying to conserve your body temperature. All right. Now, here's what I want to say about skin. There are two layers to skin. For some reason, students always want to make it three. There are two layers of skin. So the main layer, the main thickness of your skin is something called the dermis, okay, which means your skin, okay. Superficial to your dermis, or sitting on your dermis, we're going to take that prefix that means on. Who remembers that prefix from lab? That's right, epi. and we're going to call it the epidermis. So the epidermis sits on the dermis. The epidermis is the epithelial layer. Okay. So those are the two layers. Now, deep to the dermis, there is another layer. It's not skin, but that's what confuses students because they know there's something else underneath there. And so, taking the prefix, meaning below, it's called the hypodermis. That's where the word hypodermic needle comes from, when they're giving you an injection deeper to the skin. It's also known as the subcutaneous layer, which also means below the skin. So this is like the Greek and the Latin. They both mean below the skin. Hypodermis and subcutaneous, they're both the same thing. So that's it for this introduction to the skin, and come back with the next video where we are going to start learning about the epidermis in great detail. Thank you, and I'll see you shortly.